Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Legal experts are questioning whether prosecutors in New York can successfully prove the first-degree murder charge against Luigi Mangione, who is accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Mangione, 26, faces an 11-count indictment, including charges of murder and terrorism after the December 4 killing, with some concern that he may get off with the help of jury nullification, meaning that they'll find a jury there in New York that's like, he did it, but it's still kind of cool, which is a real problem. Alvin Bragg argues the crime was intended to evoke terror, because obviously it was. Some legal professionals believe the terrorism charge may be an overreach, given the lack of clear evidence that Mangione's actions were part of a broader terroristic agenda. The case has sparked debate over whether the killing has been followed on social media with praise. It will meet the threshold of the terrorism law.
Number 6.
5 protesters were found guilty of disorderly conduct for blocking the US 31 bridge in Decatur last year, with Judge Takesha Golston emphasizing that their actions disregarded the rights of others. By the way, I love this part of the story. It just needs to be reiterated over and over and over again. Rodney Gordon, who was one of my favorite interviews I ever did, the head of the Morgan County NAACP, a complete clown. All he's missing is the red nose, but this guy is a complete clown. He led this protest, he started all of this, and then he took a deal. Well, all of his little foot soldiers got sentenced to more time. It's hilarious. All they got was probation and fines and all this other stuff. And it's actually very, very funny. All of this stems from the Stephen Perkins shooting, which is obviously not very, very funny. The prosecutor said these sentences are appropriate because these protesters were disrupting daily life. I'm glad they finally got a little bit of what they deserve for what they've been doing over there in Decatur for the last couple of years.
Number 5.
If the Grinch shows up in Alabama and Alabama Senator April Weaver, a Republican of Breerfield, gets her way, he could be looking at jail time if her bill to combat porch piracy passes. This bill would change the theft laws to specifically target the unauthorized theft of delivered items. Porch pirates. You ever had a porch pirate come to your house and steal something from you? Well, now they're going to get more jail time. The bill proposes penalties based on the value of stolen goods, with offenders potentially facing up to 20 years in prison for high-value thefts. I love this. I love it. Porch pirates are the worst. Coming up to my house and committing a crime on my doorstep? No, that's a violation. My favorite thing to watch right now on the internet is people putting garbage inside big TV boxes and stuff they've just bought, and then watching people come and haul them away as they're trying to steal their TVs, but they're really just getting garbage. That's a pretty funny way to deal with it, too.
Number 4.
Birmingham City Schools are bringing an on-campus grocery store to Huffman Middle School. The free grocery store will be available for children and their families so they can have access to fresh food, including fruits, vegetables, meats, and pantry items. They can take home food and cook it at home. This will help deal with food insecurity and other issues like that. It'll be stocked in a local grocery store, and a group called Gooder will be involved as well. It costs almost $300,000. Now, let me just say this, and by the way, I need to make this as simple as I can because Andrea Alvarez may be listening. She is a Huntsville City Councilwoman, and she is very stupid. But I need to say this anyway. Listen up to the actual words here. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm perfectly okay with them providing these kids with food. I have no problem with that. But if a kid comes into the school and says, I need food because I'm not eating it at home, we need to find out what the hell's going on inside that home as well. Give them the food, but figure out how to help the whole family by going and visiting them.
Number 3.
Alabama House Minority Leader Anthony Daniels, Democrat out of Huntsville, is not happy about the talk of not extending or capping a tax exemption on overtime pay, despite its larger than expected $230 million impact on the state's education trust fund. And by the way, that's just for now. That's 9 months of the year. That doesn't take into account all the other overtime that is worked from, I believe, October, November, and December. Does overtime go up in these times? Anything happening like in the world where overtime might go up? Maybe the Christmas season? Possible? Critics like State Senator Arthur Orr, a Republican out of Decatur, propose adding caps to limit the fiscal strain. Daniels emphasizes the tax break's economic benefits, including increased productivity and higher long-term tax revenue. So this debate's going on, and guess what? We'll have both of them on the show tomorrow to continue that debate. I'll stir it up.
Number 2.
The stock market has taken a pretty steep tumble over the last couple of days, and it has a lot of people worried about what's going on with that. I am sure talk of government shutdowns and whatnot are not going to make it look much better. The Dow dropping over 1,100 points, marking its longest losing streak since 1974. And this slide is largely attributed to a cautious outlook from the Federal Reserve, which signaled fewer rate cuts than anticipated for 2025. So these high interest rates, they're going to stay up there for a while. We're never getting back to 2.5%. I have a 2.5% interest rate on my house, and we are never getting back to that. Therefore, I am never moving. The Fed's decision to lower interest rates by a quarter point offers some relief, but not what was expected. The measured approach to future economic adjustments is probably going to slow the market a little bit as well. This is going to be a muddling phase.
Now, time for the number one thing you'll be talking about today.
And you know, the market hates uncertainty. It really does. It despises uncertainty. And when there is uncertainty, things do not go very well. Right now, we've got some uncertainty because Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, the Republican out of Louisiana, he is facing a bit of a revolt from inside the Republican caucus over his bipartisan spending bill to avert a government shutdown, which was abandoned after a strong opposition from President-elect Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and a significant portion of the GOP. The media is beside itself about the Elon Musk side of this. And as I believe Eric said on the text line, it's important to point out this. Elon Musk is just operating as a megaphone for everybody else. That's what he's doing. And he's doing it very well. So they can be mad at him if they want, but they need to understand what's actually happening. Them misunderstanding the situation is not a defense of their behavior. I'm talking about the media and their Democrats. And some in the GOP as well. The plan included funding extensions and disaster aid. It faced criticism for incorporating a lot of Democratic priorities, including a whole bunch of nonsense about naming criminals into justice-involved individuals and other dumb nonsense. There was discord amongst Republicans, and that could be potentially jeopardizing Johnson's leadership position. And look, by the way, if you remember correctly, let's just all pay attention. The last time all this stuff was going on with the Speaker of the House and who was going to be Speaker and all this stuff, remember what the media told us? People are going to remember this in November. Did anyone remember that in November? Did anybody remember that in November? Tell me what year that whole little kerfuffle took place. Just tell me what year it was. This is the year. You don't even have to tell me what day. But what year was it that was going on? Off the top of my head, I'm guessing 2023. I'm not off the top of my head, don't remember, but I'm guessing 2023. Maybe even 2022. Don't remember. Either way, no one's going to remember this nonsense. This is all crap. But there is no alternative plan in place. A government shutdown looms at, midnight on Friday, or is that Saturday? I forget which way we refer to that. But anyway, going into Saturday morning, we could be in a government shutdown. Escalating uncertainty, political tensions, all that nonsense. But Alabama United States Senator Tommy Tuberville is jumping right in the middle of this. He criticized the bill before it failed. So Tommy Tuberville was against it before it was cool. The Republican out of Auburn spoke up, labeling it as, quote, absolutely ridiculous, end quote. He voiced frustration with the misaligned federal priorities ahead of the looming government shutdown. That seems inevitable. Now, is it inevitable? I don't know. But it looks like we may be in a situation where we may be looking at a government shutdown. You know what? Sometimes these things have to happen. They just have to happen. And eventually, maybe people will learn their lessons on all of this. I've learned my lesson, and I want to hear what you guys have learned. So you guys, what year was that Speaker Johnson nonsense? Tell me what year that was. I don't even remember off the top of my head. So let me know. You can tell me when and where. Well, we know where it was, but when it was right here, right now. At 866-494-WVNN. That's the scoutpestcontrol.com, WVNN hot take text line. Get your thoughts in, get your hot takes in, get your questions in for 10 with him, and we'll get those answers in here in just a little bit. But right now, let me tell you about Two Men in a Truck. You get two men in a truck and so much more. Not only do you get two men in a truck, they come, they pack it up, they move it, they unpack it, they stage it, and you're going to be thrilled. They have what's known as the grandma rule. Treat everyone the way you'd want your grandma to be treated. This is exactly what you want from movers. Whether it's cold, hot, or perfect outside, they're going to do a better job than you ever could. Two Men and a Truck, Huntsville.com. Talk to those guys today. When you do, tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.